If you've clicked on this video, this means that you want to increase your story views. Well, here is your no bullshit guide to doing just that. Let's get started. First, we have to understand why some stories get views while others don't. Well, it's quite simple actually. It comes down to this formula: positive story interactions minus negative story interactions equal your story views. So what does this mumbo jumbo mean? Well, positive story interactions mean how much time the user has spent watching your stories, have they interacted with any stickers inside of the story, have they replied to your story, basically everything that the person can do in order to show that they're engaged in what they're seeing. Negative story interactions, on the other hand, are every single action that the user can do in order to show that they're not engaged into what they're watching. This might be closing the application, this might be skipping your stories, ignoring your stickers, etc. So this story formula basically means that the more positive story interactions you get and the less negative story interactions you get, the better your story views will be. If you're enjoying this video thus far, make sure you press the like button, as it does help me out a lot. So now that we have understood what drives story views, the question is, how do we get more positive story interactions and how do we avoid getting negative story interactions? Well, I've got you covered on that as well. Here are my 5 tips to crush stories. Tip number 1, in order to get more positive story interactions, you want to be including stickers in your stories. My favorite stickers are polls and questions because you basically have unlimited possibilities with these two. The second tip is incredibly useful if you are utilizing a lot of video in your stories. You want to make sure that your videos have subtitles inside of them, because most people watch videos on Instagram and on social media in general on mute. So you want to make sure that even if a person cannot hear what you're saying, they can still understand the value behind your story. Tip number 3 is that you want to be following a consistent posting schedule for your stories. I recommend you posting anywhere from 3 to 5 stories per day with 2 to 3 hours difference between each story. That way you will be bringing fresh content for your stories throughout the day, you won't be overburdening to your audience, and at the same time you will be building habits with your audience, making them want to check your stories throughout their day. Tip number 4 is making sure that the content you're posting on your stories is actually of a similar quality and on a similar topic as the content you're posting on your feed. A lot of people make the mistake that they're posting some random content on their stories, not really thinking about how it fits their content strategy or how it fits their audience, and this is a big mistake. And my last big tip for leveling up your stories is to actually brand them consistently. So if you're utilizing a specific style for your feed, you want to be making sure that you use a specific style for your stories. That way, when someone is swiping through their stories, they will be able to notice and recognize your specific story and hopefully stay on your story for longer. So an example of how I am doing this for my brand is that I use a lot of red in my feed, and I do make sure that I use a lot of red in my stories as well. But some other fun examples might be actually to create PNG elements of you, or PNG elements which make sense for your brand, and then you can use these elements consistently throughout your story, making it recognizable. Instagram stories come down to getting positive interactions and avoiding negative interactions. If you want more story views, you have to make sure that you are utilizing the tips that I just gave you. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe. See you next time, brave one.